From quickly wandering off set for good on their last day without a care in the world, to clashes with co-stars and creators leading to a dramatic exit, these actors weren't in the mood to stick around in any way, shape or form. Gareth here from Whatculture.com, and here are 10 actors who walked off huge TV shows and why. Number 10, extras leave and don't come back. Noughts and Crosses. Finally bringing the television adaptation of Mallory Blackman's Noughts and Crosses novel series to life, after being announced as in production some 4 years earlier. 2020's BBC spin on the Romeo and Juliet-esque love tale set in a dystopian world hits all the right notes with audiences. However, in the lead up to the show's release, it was actually revealed by Patterson Joseph, playing Home Secretary Kamal Hadley, that a number of white extras brought in to shoot the series whilst on location in South Africa weren't best pleased with the material and didn't return to the set next day upon learning of the premise of the show. That being black people known as crosses being in the positions of real power in this world, whilst the white noughts take up lower-class roles in the wake of Africa colonizing Europe. As Joseph put it whilst talking about the show at the South Bank Centre in London, "I don't mind saying this, it's the truth. We had extras, white extras in South Africa, who decided not to come back the next day when they heard the premise of what they had just shot because it's difficult. Well, more fool them." Number 9, Diana Rigg shoots when she wants. Game of Thrones. Proving to be every bit as formidable off-screen as she undoubtedly was on it, the tale of Dame Diana Rigg not standing for any bullcrap while shooting on the biggest show ever committed to screens is the stuff of TV legend. Speaking in the wake of the well-respected star's tragic passing in 2020, Jessica Henwick would recall a story to EW of how Rigg commanded the set during the filming of a season 6 scene on the show, with the folks tasked with setting up the shots still in the thick of making sure everything was prepped and ready to go. Rigg would apparently declare, "Roll the cameras," as she began to let loose her lines. 2 takes later, Rigg was happy with her end product, telling the person requesting a close-up shot of Lady Elena Tyrell to do one as she made her epic exit from the set. As Henwick would note, the fact Rigg couldn't exactly bolt off into the abyss at that point in her career only made the sight of her storming off at 0.1 miles per hour even funnier, with the actor admitting, "She cracked me up, I loved her." Number 8, David Caruso leaves without saying goodbye. NYPD Blue. Saying goodbye to a character you've been attached to for a decent amount of time is never easy. Unless your name is David Caruso, that is. As the actor infamously decided to ride off into the sunset without so much as a catch you later back in 1995. On the back of some tough negotiations over a proposed pay rise, and some significant new bonuses after picking up a Golden Globe Award for his work as Detective John Kelly on NYPD Blue, the showrunners eventually agreed to terminate Caruso's contract if he agreed to show up for 4 episodes of season 2, so they could effectively write off the character. Sure enough, that's exactly what happened. But that still couldn't prepare Caruso's fellow cast members for what happened next. According to one of the show's creators, Stephen Bocco, once Caruso had wrapped his last scene on the TV show, involving him walking out of the 15th Precinct's doors for the last time, he genuinely turned his back on the entire production and wasn't seen of again. In Bocco's words, when he had shot his last scene of the 4th episode, he turned without a word and left the set, the stage, and the lot. He didn't say a single word of thanks or a goodbye to his castmates. Nothing. Number 7, Michele clashes with her castmates. Glee. It may not come as too much of a surprise to learn that a show centered around a group of largely varying personalities, all trying to get along in their pursuit of Glee Club glory, did sometimes come equipped with its fair share of backstage drama for realsies. On one particular occasion, however, things were said to have boiled over to the point of Rachel Berry actor Michele reportedly storming off set on the back of a number of her castmates being pissed off about her antics while shooting, with Michele being said to have stalled shooting back in 2014 whilst dealing with personal matters. Late Santana Lopez actor Naya Rivera would supposedly tell producers about the cast's feelings, resulting in Michele storming away from a subsequent shoot when she heard of the drama. Contradicting reports would state that it was Rivera who actually got thrown off set, but Rivera would also add in her 2016 book, Sorry Not Sorry, "We are both strong-willed and competitive, not just with each other but with everyone, and that's not a good mixture." Evidently not. Number 6, Roseanne Barr threatens to quit. Roseanne. Long before she was unceremoniously given the heave-ho from her own series, Roseanne Barr threatened to walk away from the show that really put her on the map on a number of occasions over the years. As famous showrunner and one-time Roseanne writer Chuck Lorre would note to The Hollywood Reporter, Roseanne was determined to have her series focus not just on comedy but sensitive social issues too. And if she didn't get her way, the leading lady would do everything from refuse pieces of dialogue to storming off the set entirely, to even threatening to leave the show behind for good if things didn't change. Barr's run with the show would ultimately come to an end in 2018, however, Ferreira after the star sent out a set of racist tweets, with the sitcom being rebranded as The Connors going forward as it finishes off its 4th season this year. Guess you kinda got a wish in the end. Number 5, everyone has beef with Terry Hatcher, Desperate Housewives. Hardly being swept under the rug throughout the show's 8-year run on ABC, word of Terry Hatcher not exactly mixing well with the rest of her Desperate Housewives cast was never too far away from the headlines. However, things threatened to finally implode between the Titanic TV stars during an infamous shoot for Vanity Fair back in 2005, as the likes of Hatcher, Eva Longoria, Marcia Cross, Felicity Huffman, and Vanessa Williams all took part in a disastrous day on set. With it being said that Hatcher was to be positioned in the center of the cover shot, both Cross and Longoria apparently threatened to storm off the shoot entirely. Sure enough, Hatcher ended up being shoved out to the left of the final image. Cross would also ultimately walk off after spotting Hatcher in a bathing suit, ordering an ABC employee to get your effing ass over here and do your effing job. You'll likely not be surprised to hear that this was the last time the women took part in a magazine shoot together. Probably for the best. Number 4, Lauren Cohan wanted no part of the C-section. The Walking Dead. A certain level of gore is to be expected when walking onto a TV series almost exclusively dedicated to depicting the living dead hunting down people. But that still couldn't prepare The Walking Dead's Maggie Green actor Lauren Cohan from getting itchy feet when the time came to perform one particularly gnarly moment on screen. The scene in question involved Cohan's Maggie having to perform a C-section on Lori Grimes, with Lori ultimately dying during the birth of her child Judith. Upon reading the moment in the script coming into the day of the shoot, Cohan would admit on her appearance on Inside the Actors Studio to telling on-screen husband Stephen Yeun, "I have to leave the show, I don't think I can do it." But after this understandable wobble in the lead up to such an important and sensitive moment in the show's history, and almost not being able to stay on set to shoot it, Cohan would epically regain her composure and give us one of the most compelling performances you're ever likely to witness on the small screen. Number 3, Pamela Anderson isn't happy. Celebrity Juice. For those unaware, the British TV series by the name of Celebrity Juice largely boils down to a rather bizarre host by the name of Keith Lemon taking the piss out of his guests. And judging from Pamela Anderson's response to a moment that went down on the typically controversial show, she too likely didn't have much of a clue what to expect from Lemon and his weird world on the night. With the Baywatch superstar suddenly opting to up sticks and storm off midway through the show's jolly dancing exchange, Lemon was said to have been shocked by her unexpected departure. Keith would explain that he assumed it had something to do with Anderson not being impressed by being asked to take part in a game that involved putting chips up her nose. Standard. But the truth was that the Playboy legend was pissed about having an old picture of hers displayed. As Lemon would note, Anderson reportedly told one of the show's producers, "I'm not happy, I have clearance on all my pictures, I'm not happy you showed that." In typically odd Lemon fashion, his theory on the matter consisted of, maybe she needed a poo, and she ran off because she didn't want to poo herself on telly, so made that excuse. Yeah, sure Keith. Number 2, Chevy Chase doesn't feel like shooting. Community. Chevy Chase's uncooperative behavior on the set of much-loved sitcom Community has become arguably as well known as the series itself. Blasting his time on the show as a big mistake around the time he left in 2012, Chase's most infamous instance of being a bit of a prick came in the form of the moment he chose to completely screw up the last day of shooting for the 3rd season. The scene in question wasn't merely a throwaway moment either, with Chase's departure coming in the lead up to what would have been season 3's big conclusion. Upon giving the green light to a tag for the last shot of the season, series creator Dan Harmon was incensed to hear that Chase was having none of the emotional moments because he apparently wanted to go home because he was tired. Going further, Harmon wouldn't hold back in stating, "The sets came down after he walked away. So this was the one time in 3 years that his personality caused unfixable damage to something I really held valuable." Number 1, Barbie Ferreira experiences creative differences. Euphoria. With HBO's hard-hitting teen drama series Euphoria rarely pulling any punches, as it continues to be one of the hottest shows on the planet, it stands to reason that tensions would likely get a bit high on occasion when bringing the Emmy Award-winning series to life. And in one particularly tense case, it appears one of the show's stars was so passionately against the direction her character was being taken in the story that she completely left the set during shooting. This butting of heads with creator Sam Levinson would ultimately lead to Barbie Ferreira's character of Catherine Cat Hernandez being largely scaled back in the show's 2nd season, with the Daily Beast going further in revealing that Ferreira allegedly stormed off set twice, not counting an incident where she had to be helped off set after twisting her ankle during the filming of the hot tub puking moment. Some sources have even reported that at least one sex scene involving the actor was cut on the back of the clash, with both HBO and the actor herself refusing to comment on the apparent riff.